Welcome to our channel. Today, we're diving into the dark world of Pelican Bay State Prison. This place is no joke, man. It's considered one of the toughest, most dangerous prisons in the entire United States. We're talking about a whole other level of intensity. We'll be counting down the top 6 most dangerous gang members locked up in this notorious facility. These guys are the real deal. The kind of individuals who have committed heinous acts and operate with their own set of rules within the already brutal prison system. Make sure to stay till the end to learn about these fearsome individuals. We're talking about their backgrounds, their crimes, and the kind of influence they wield even from behind bars. It's a wild ride, so buckle up. First up, we got John the Executioner Doe. This dude's nickname alone should tell you everything you need to know. He's the leader of the Black Order, the most feared gang inside Pelican Bay. They run the show in there, controlling the drug trade, the gambling, you name it. Doe got his nickname for a reason. They say he's personally responsible for at least a dozen murders inside. And I'm not talking about your average shivving either. We're talking elaborate setups, brutal beatdowns, the kind of stuff that makes your stomach turn. The craziest part? This dude seems to be operating with impunity. Guards are terrified of him. Inmates won't even look him in the eye. He's like a phantom, a ghost, moving through the shadows and leaving a trail of chaos in his wake. There are whispers, though, rumors of a power struggle brewing within the Black Order. Some young blood, tired of Doe's iron fist. It's a powder keg waiting to explode, and when it does, the whole prison might just go up in flames. Now, I'm not saying any of this to glorify violence or anything like that. This is the reality of Pelican Bay, a place where survival is the only law and guys like John Doe are the judge, jury, and executioner. It's a terrifying thought, man. But here's the thing about guys like Doe. They're products of their environment. You take a kid, strip him of everything, throw him into a concrete jungle like Pelican Bay. What do you think is going to happen? He's going to adapt. He's going to become a predator. It's a vicious cycle, man. And until we address the root causes of this kind of violence, until we find a better way to rehabilitate instead of just punish, guys like John Doe will keep popping up like weeds. It's a sobering thought for sure. Alright, so next we got Michael the Enforcer Smith. This dude is like John Doe's right-hand man, his muscle. If Doe's the brains of the operation, Smith's the one cracking skulls and keeping everyone in line. They say Smith is a mountain of a man, over 6.5 feet tall, built like a brick shithouse. He was a former boxer on the outside, known for his devastating right hook. Inside Pelican Bay, that right hook has become legendary. But Smith's not just some mindless brute. He's actually supposed to be pretty intelligent. Word on the yard is, he reads Nietzsche and Machiavelli in his cell. He sees himself as a philosopher king, ruling over his domain with an iron fist. And his domain is vast. Smith controls the flow of drugs and weapons within Pelican Bay. He's got guards on his payroll, lawyers on speed dial. He's practically untouchable. But there's a darkness to Smith, a brutality that even the other inmates find disturbing. They say he enjoys inflicting pain, that he takes a perverse pleasure in breaking people. There's a story, probably just a rumor, but they say one time a new inmate fresh off the bus accidentally bumped into Smith in the chow line. Smith didn't say a word. He just smiled, grabbed the guy's arm, and snapped it like a twig. The guards found the inmate later that night, curled up in a ball in his cell, whimpering like a wounded animal. He never spoke again. Now, I don't know if that story is true or not, but it's the kind of reputation Michael the Enforcer Smith has cultivated. He's a monster, plain and simple, and he's living proof that sometimes the scariest monsters are the ones we create ourselves. Now, let's talk about David the Butcher Johnson. This guy is a whole other breed of crazy. He's not affiliated with any particular gang, but he's feared by everyone, inmates and guards alike. Johnson's a big dude, like linebacker big, with a shaved head and cold, dead eyes. They say he's got a tattoo of a skull on his chest, each tooth representing a life he's taken. And trust me, that skull has a lot of teeth. Johnson's MO is pure, unadulterated violence. He's like a shark in the water, always circling, always looking for his next victim. He doesn't discriminate either. Inmates, Guards, it doesn't matter. If you cross him, you're done. There's a story, and this one's definitely true, about the time Johnson escaped from solitary confinement. He managed to pick the lock on his cell door with a sharpened toothbrush, overpowered the guard, and then just disappeared into the bowels of the prison. They found him 3 days later, holed up in the kitchen, surrounded by a pile of stolen food and makeshift weapons. He'd been sharpening a shiv on the bottom of his shoe, just waiting for someone to come looking for him. The guards eventually subdued him, but not before he took out 2 more of them. They say he was laughing the whole time, like he was enjoying the chaos, the fear in their eyes. David. The Butcher Johnson is a true psychopath, a force of nature that even the prison system can't contain. He's a reminder that sometimes the most dangerous predators are the ones who operate outside the rules, the ones who simply can't be reasoned with. Chapter 4. Robert. The Shadow Brown. All right, let's move on to a different kind of dangerous. Robert. The Shadow Brown. This guy is the opposite of someone like David Johnson. He's quiet, calculating, almost invisible, but don't let that fool you, he's just as deadly. Brown is a master manipulator, a puppeteer pulling strings from the shadows. He's the mastermind behind some of the most audacious crimes committed inside Pelican Bay, from smuggling contraband to orchestrating hits on rival gang members. But here's the thing about Brown. No one can prove anything. He's like a ghost, always one step ahead of the authorities. He never gets his hands dirty, always using other inmates to carry out his dirty work. There are rumors, of course. Whispers of a vast network of informants and collaborators, all working under Brown's command. They say he has access to information that even the warden doesn't know, that he can get anything he wants with a single phone call. But it's all speculation. Brown is a master of deception, a chameleon who blends in with his surroundings. He's the kind of guy who can be standing right next to you, whispering in your ear, and you'd never even know it. And that's what makes him so dangerous. He's the ultimate insider threat, the virus that's already infected the system. You can't fight what you can't see. Chapter 5. James, the Snake Williams. Next up, we got James, the Snake Williams. Now this guy is a whole different kind of predator. He's not about brute force or intimidation. He's all about cunning, manipulation, and exploiting weaknesses. Williams is a con man, through and through. He could charm the skin off a rattlesnake. He's got this way about him, this almost hypnotic charisma that draws people in, makes them want to believe his lies. Inside Pelican Bay, Williams is known as the go-to guy for anything illegal. Need a fake ID? He's your man. Want to make a discreet phone call to the outside? Williams can hook you up, but it'll cost you. And I'm not talking about money. Williams deals in favors, in debts that can never be repaid. He's like a spider, slowly weaving his web around his victims, trapping them in a cycle of dependence and despair. There are stories of inmates who borrowed a few packs of cigarettes from Williams, only to find themselves owing him their souls a few weeks later. He's got this uncanny ability to sniff out weakness, to exploit people's desperation, and once he's got you in his clutches, there's no escape. He'll bleed you dry emotionally, psychologically, until there's nothing left but a hollow shell. Chapter 6. William the Beast. Davis. Last but not least, we got William the Beast Davis. This dude is the embodiment of pure, unfiltered rage. He's a ticking time bomb liable to go off at any moment. Davis is massive, even bigger than Michael the Enforcer Smith. They say he's pushing 300 pounds, all muscle and fury. He's got a face that looks like it's been carved out of granite, with piercing blue eyes that seem to burn right through you. He spent most of his life in solitary confinement, and for good reason. When Davis gets loose, it's like unleashing a rabid animal. He's got this berserker rage that takes over, turning him into an unstoppable force of destruction. There's a story, and this one's the stuff of legend, about the time Davis ripped a steel toilet out of the wall of his cell and used it to bash his way through a reinforced door. It took a dozen guards armed with tasers and riot shields to finally subdue him. They say the look in his eyes that day, the sheer primal fury, was enough to make grown men wet themselves. He's a terrifying individual, a walking embodiment of the darkest impulses of humanity. Thanks for watching. If you want more information, check out the link in the description. There's a whole rabbit hole of crazy stories about Pelican Bay and the inmates who call it home. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe for more content like this. We're always diving deep into the darkest corners of the internet, exploring the strange and the terrifying. Stay safe and see you in the next video.